go officially live in the next 3 minutes or 5 minutes at 10:05. So I'd highly suggest get yourself maybe a snack, maybe, pen and pad for some notes. And then, just as we wait for some to attend, and then we shall go live officially. Let me just quickly prepare this, make sure that it's working. So what I've also been doing is I've decided to save these videos and put them in, how would I call it? Put them on, it's on my YouTube channel. I think this will help a lot because I know some agents are already in holiday mode. They still want to get access. So what I will do also is I'll share with you the link of the past sessions just to show you what that looks like. Yeah, so this was last week. That's what we covered. And then I think this is the first session that I did. So I'm happy to share the link with you. If you'd like to get access, happy to share that. You can go check it out. And then we shall begin very soon. How's it? Martin? Yeah, we'll begin at 10:05. Yeah, we'll start in the next 3 minutes. And then excited, man. Today's session is going to be really nice. Decided to do something a little bit more different. I was actually telling Bernard that I'm going to be posting this. I've got basically a channel on YouTube now where I put all the replays, and then I'm happy to also share the link. So I think that could really help a lot. A lot of agents are already in holiday mode. But for the special ones, you guys who still want to prepare and get ready for next year, that's the reason why I'm doing these type of sessions. So yeah, Martin will start at 10:05. Everyone else will catch us as we go on, and we shall begin. Let me just quickly see here. Am I clear enough? I just wanted to make sure that I'm clear enough. I think, yes, okay. So I've moved over to my mic. I think that should help a lot. Let me do this, yeah. Okay, perfect. Bernard, Martin, am I clear? Maybe just pop me a message, or you can also react. So there's an emoji here at the bottom. So let me put a reaction to help you guys see. So yeah, see, that's a reaction if you guys have never used Google Meets before. Just to make sure that I've got both of you guys on. Can you guys hear me? All good? Okay, Martin, great. Bernard? Yeah, I think Bernard is still trying to sort out a few of his things. Here, Martin, I would highly suggest get yourself a pen and a pad. Okay, Bernard is like, yes, perfect, great. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start anyway. Those who will join. And I suppose what we can also do is if you guys have any particular questions, feel free to ask me. I always like to say that I don't see anything as a bad question or as a stupid question. If anything, we're here to learn. And these are all the things that I've been learning over the past, I would say, 8-9 years, and also just some trends that I'm noticing happening. This is definitely from this year and last year. So yeah, highly suggest get yourself a pen and a pad. I am recording this as well, and then I'm going to put it into the YouTube channel that will have all the other previous sessions. So if you ever want to get access to that link, I'll send that over to you guys. This is the one that I did last week. And then I will also have this one as well for this week. So I'm just going to keep them stacked up, and then you guys can always just watch them in your own time. All right, perfect. let me begin. Let me just quickly do this here. All right, so I'm just going to quickly begin, and then those who will join us will definitely join us. And let's go ahead. So cool, guys. So on my side, man, I'm really excited to walk you through, I would say, honestly, the best digital strategy to help you guys in 2026. And, just to jump straight into it, I would say really the best way to stand out next year, especially online, because this is obviously a big topic now for many agents, is you're going to need a mixture of visibility and relevance. When you have both, that is where you will start to dominate. I've seen for many agents, in a sense, they know how to get a little bit of visibility, okay? But then for many agents, this is where I see many of them are losing out, is they just don't know how to be relevant. And when I say relevant, I really mean more from the perspective of how can I be visible but relevant in a state where I can then get people to reach out to me that want to work with me. So not just getting a view, not just getting a like, not just getting a comment, not just getting a, okay, great, but more getting a, hey, I saw your piece of content. Hey, I've been seeing you online. How can we work together? Can you help me sell my house? Can you help me find my dream home in the area that you're working with? That is how you're going to be dominating. And the only way you can do it is through relevance. So let me just jump straight into it. So guys, if there's one thing you need to master, as I've mentioned, definitely visibility, but not noise, definitely with relevance. And I think another thing that most agents don't understand is that the algorithm doesn't reward effort, it rewards relevance. And I think that's where many agents have it wrong. And I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the content where they speak about, oh, you need to post, right? Post 10 times a day, post 3 times a week. Yeah, but what is that? What does that post entail? And I think that is where many agents are struggling right now at the moment is, okay, I get it. I know how to post, or I have an idea of what to post, but of how to post, but what do I post? And that's what I'm going to cover now in a second. But just to help you guys understand why easy strategies keep agents stuck is because of this. And I'm pretty sure you guys will definitely relate to this. All right. So don't get me wrong, posting on Marketplace and local community groups, that definitely works. But this is the uncomfortable truth, is that if something is easy and everyone else is doing it, the barrier to entry is low, which means so are the results. If anyone and everyone can do it, then of course the results aren't necessarily going to work, right? Because if posting in groups was enough to dominate, everyone would be closing deals, everyone would be winning the top agent, top sales awards, but they're not. Why? Because everyone is fishing in the same empty pond, hoping to pull out a fruit that was never planted. And that's the big thing that I'm seeing in this industry, is that when I speak to a lot of agents, they're like, oh, Wandile, I am posting. Oh, okay. Where are you posting? Oh, on Marketplace. I'm also posting on the groups. So let's say, you're in Pretoria and you basically joined all the Praetorian groups on Facebook, for example, and you're posting your listings on those groups. Yes, you have the visibility, but do you have the relevance? And don't get me wrong, there are agents who are getting at least 1 or 2 deals a month from that. But the problem is it's not consistent. And if everyone else is also doing the same thing, that's where you get up and down results, because you don't have something that's going to help you be relevant in your own sense, that's going to help you get people to come through to you. So this is something that I created, which I think will help you guys understand this to a T, which is what I like to call the farming analogy. This is the missing piece that, my goodness, I think I need to sit down with the board of all these big real estate agencies and help them understand this, because I feel that if they can educate this particular part to every agent, everyone would be closing more deals. In fact, there'll be so much business for everyone that we wouldn't have to worry about the competition. Because once you do this, this is essentially what's going to help you. But because you guys are here and you guys are here to learn, I can tell you right now, not many agents are going to use this, and I want you guys to use it, especially for 2026. Okay, so here's a farming analogy to help you guys understand this. So here's the thing. Real estate, what I like to say, works like farming, not hunting. Okay, here's the thing, and you guys know this. A farmer doesn't just arrive at an empty land, look for fruit, and then get frustrated and leave. No, we know that. Okay, farmer doesn't do that. So what does a farmer do? Okay, a farmer finds land, okay, ensures the soil is fertile, it plants the seeds, it waters consistently, it allows sunlight and time, and then harvests repeatedly. That's it. But now, what I'm seeing in this industry, and this is the big problem, is that most agents are trying to yank fruit out of dry land. This is most agents here. They arrive at an empty land, they look for fruit, and then they get frustrated and leave. That's what I'm seeing right now. Okay. But if you really want to crush it in 2026, you want to be planting forests. That is how you do it. So how do you do it? Number one, you find land. You find a place where you could be most visible. So what are the places where you could be most visible? Social media. I mean, if you've done your research, okay, we are nailed or hailed the kings of the world internet addiction. So for those of you who don't know, let me actually quickly find this stat for you. Business Tech South African internet addicts. So we spend on average 9 hours a day on the internet. 9 hours a day, guys. 9 hours a day on the internet. Let me quickly show you the stat over here. Feel free to go check it out. It's on Business Tech. Here it is. Okay, South Africans are the biggest internet addicts in the world. And then you can just find out basically on average what that looks like. You see, this is the worldwide average over there, 6 hours. On average, the world spends 6 hours. But in South Africa, we spend 9 hours. I think for the 2024 stat, it's a little bit higher now than 9 hours. So right now, we're still number one from, I think, looking at 2024's numbers. We'll see how this year pans out. Okay, so that in and of itself should show you, okay, and we'll tap into the social media platforms, but let me get back into this, okay? So where's the best land? Social media, the internet, okay? Facebook, Instagram. I would say if you can just focus on Facebook and Instagram for now, because that's where most people are spending most of the time, there you've got your land. And then how do you make sure that you have relevancy? This is where you need to make sure that you're posting the right content that is speaking to the market. And I'm going to walk you guys through in terms of how to create that, like what type of content is going to speak to every different type of market. But I see where most people fail is the consistency and the trust and the timing. Because again, if you're planting a seed, right, it's logical. If you guys go and plant a seed, you water it, you allow sunlight to do what it needs to do in a day. But then tomorrow, you're the very same person that goes and tries to see if whether that fruit has already been grown in a day or 24 hours. You wouldn't do that because it just doesn't make sense. You need to allow it to grow. You need to ensure that you give it that time. You need to give it enough water, enough sunlight and time, and then things really start to grow. So that's where I see most agents have that lack, is that for them, they want to get to an empty land and then find fruit. So in other words, you want to already find people that are ready to go, ready to buy, ready to sell. Don't get me wrong, they always will be there, but it's a very small group of people. And that's why in last week's session, I spoke about in most oftentimes, if you had to look at a market where 100% of those people are leads, 3% of those people are ready to move forward, but 97% of them are not ready yet. So the key element here is how do I consistently nurture and water those 97% so that eventually, once they are ready, I am the person that they think of. And that is what the top agents do. They know how to plant a forest. And that's the reason why I think we all know that the agent who's been in the industry for, let's say, 10, 20, 30 years, they easily get repeatable referrals. Why? Because they found their land. What was their land back then? It was probably cold calling. It was probably doing things traditionally, going door to door, farming that area, for example, right? Hence why I call it that. How did they find relevance? Through face-to-face. And then how did they plant their seed and water consistently? They just constantly cold call, or they would constantly send flyers. They'll constantly go door to door, constantly stay top of mind. And then they just allowed the trust and the timing. But here's the thing, guys. That was back then. That is when you had to do things manually yourself. And that's why it took them 10, 20, 30 years to get there. You can literally get to this point. You can literally build a forest in 3 to 6 months. But if you are consistent with this process, that is the beauty around the social media space, is that we're now collapsing time. You, instead of doing that for 20 years, you can now do that for 3 to 6 months. And you get the same results as someone who's been doing it for 20 years. But the difference is You don't stop after 3 to 6 months. It's a lifestyle. Continuously do it. And that is how you stand out, right? Hope I'm making sense so far. Duncan, Reginald, Bernard, everything making sense so far? Okay, I'm just going to assume that it's making, oh, okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great, guys. Cool. So let's go move forward. So here's the thing, guys. I want to walk you guys through in terms of these 3 stages of every lead. So I have broken this down in my previous videos, but I know that if I repeat over and over and over again, you guys will finally understand it. So I always say that if you don't know funnels, you don't know marketing. And if you don't know how to do that, then you're always going to struggle. So I want you to view it from this perspective, okay? Every lead goes through these 3 stages. That very hot lead that you spoke to, maybe it was by cold calling or by luck or just by chance, they didn't just wake up and say, I'm ready to sell, I'm ready to buy. They went through every single stage I'm going to go through. But now I'm going to walk you through how to create a way where you consistently, in a sense, harvest people who are not ready, who are thinking about it to become ready, but you do it in a consistent way. And this is how it works. So going into what I was saying, your market is never one group, it's always these 3. So of course, there's always going to be people who are not ready, and we understand that. And then, okay, and then there's people who are going to be thinking about it, who are researching, considering, and then there's people who are ready to go right now. I think we all know that. Think about when you first bought your car or when you first bought a house. You didn't just wake up and be like, okay, I'm ready to buy a house. It was a process. Okay, maybe at some point you were not ready. Could be financial reasons, maybe because you were not married yet, etc., and. Okay, and then that idea came. We were like, I'm looking to buy a car. I'm looking to buy a house because maybe something happened in your life. Now, guess what happens? Now you go and you research. You start to do your research. You go online. You do your research. You go here. You go there. You look at that. You start to go on YouTube or Google, or you reach out to people who have what you're looking for, and you find out your information. And then once you're ready, you make that decision. Now, once you make that decision, what do? You go and find somebody who's most relevant. Now, it could be a friend that you know, or it could be a company that you know of, right? But in that moment, once you're ready, you go and reach out to that company. Okay, so that is a stage of every lead. And once you understand how to speak to every lead at these 3 stages, is how you start to build a system, a machine that literally turns someone from a stranger into someone who says, I'm ready to go. And this is basically every stage, all right? So here's the thing. I've noticed most agents only talk to people already right now. And that's the reason why your income feels inconsistent, your pipelines feel empty, and your pressure feels constant. Why? Because, again, you're only speaking to people already right now. This is only 3% of people. But there's a lot of people who are here. In fact, I would say the sweet spot of people who are here, because they're almost ready to go. So who can help them become ready? You, because you have the information that they're looking for. Okay, so the best way to really solve this online, this is the key element here. I want to be focusing more on the online space. Content can solve this. Because when you create content for all 3 stages, right? For people who are not ready, people are thinking about, and people are ready to go, what are you doing? You're planting seeds for people who are not ready, right? For the future deals. And then for the people who are thinking about it, you're nurturing their intention. These are warm deals. And then for the people who are ready to go, you're going to convert that urgency into now deals. You can create content that speaks to these 3 people. But it's important to focus on creating content that speaks to all 3. Because if you're only focusing on content that's going to focus people who are closing right now, you're going to get to a month where you don't have people to talk to, and you're not sparking up new conversations, which means that these 2 are dry. And my focus is to help you guys focus on all 3 so that you're constantly bringing in new leads, new conversations, people that you're building a relationship with, and people that are actually eventually going to be closing deals, in a nutshell. Okay. So, for example, that is exactly how you never worry about your next deal again. So let me give you guys an easy example. Okay, you guys are watching me. Okay, Bernard, I know you're already ready now. I did receive your payment. Thanks for that. Okay, but Bernard, think about it for a second. Okay, at some point, you're probably not ready to move forward with me, right? Or maybe you weren't even ready. Maybe you weren't even aware about, how to get leads and deals online. And then you start thinking about it. Maybe you went through 2 or 3 months where you struggled. Or you were like, you know what, I'm tired of cold calling. Or you were like, you know what, actually, screw this. I want to do something different. Or you were like, you know what, actually, there is another better way. And then what did you do? You did your research and consideration. And then that's how you found me. But you didn't immediately say, hey, K1, I'm ready right now. No. What did you do? You did your research. And when you did your research, what did you find? You found my content that probably solved whatever you were looking at or whatever you were thinking about. And then immediately, as soon as you were satisfied, now that's how you WhatsApp me. And you're like, Wandile, I'm in. Okay, and that is exactly how the process works. Why do I do these type of videos? So that I am speaking to people who are thinking about it, researching and considering. Because someone who isn't ready yet is not going to attend. But someone who's thinking about using digital and AI, they will attend, and that is how they learn. And that is the process that works for every other business. Okay, so here's the strategy that's going to help you guys win in 2026. Trust is the new currency. That is ultimate. If I really had to boil it down, it's all about how can I build as much trust as possible. Because here's the thing, I've seen this happen countlessly and time over again. I've seen agents who have literally just been in the industry for 2 months, just 2 months, work on big deals. And then I get the older agents who are like, but this agent's only been in the industry for 2 months. How is it that that lead decided to work with them and not me? And I told that lead that I'm the best agent because I've been in the industry for 20 years. Why did they work with that younger agent? Or that agent's only been in the industry for 2 years? And I said, it's trust. It's trust. At the end of the day, it's trust. And when you look at the younger agent and you look at their social media, you can see they're creating content that's helping people understand property a bit better, understand the selling process, understand the buying process. So guess what that does in that person's mind? This is the expert. Okay. But then the agent who's been in the industry for 20 years and doesn't have anything that's going to be educating people, yeah, you may be in the industry for 20 years, but there's just your experience alone is not enough to build the trust. That's just what I'm noticing right now in the online space. So how do we then build this? So as I've mentioned, we're officially in a trust recession. People right now at the moment don't just trust, and when I say this, I mean just in general. They don't trust ads, they don't trust captions, they don't trust images, they don't trust perfect messaging. They trust who? People. And the fastest way to build trust is video. I would say video has to be one of the best ways to build trust. Notice how what I do, everything I do is video. What am I doing right now? This is a live video. When you look at my content, it's always what? It's video. Okay. I've noticed, hands down, video has been the best way for me to get people to trust me. Don't get me wrong, posting content that has written text, that is great for visibility and relevance. But if you really want to build trust, hands down, I would say video is the best way to win. So text alone, guys, it's not to say that it doesn't work, but doing that alone isn't necessarily going to get you the results. And I've seen this happen time and time again with a lot of my clients. So here's why, okay? Bite-sized posts get attention, but video builds memory, okay? I think for many of you, or for those, who've watched my videos, you remember me more when you watch a video instead of just a text. So people can easily scroll if they see a text, but the video is what actually builds a relationship. It's the reason why in this industry, people or agents like to meet you in person. Video is as closest to as person that you'll get at scale. That's what I mean. So if people can see your face, hear your voice, and understand your thinking, and I think this, I need to highlight this, understand your thinking, they feel like they know you before they ever even message you. And that ultimately is how trust is built before the conversation. I'm pretty sure, Bernard, that was the same case, right? You've probably watched a few of my videos. You're like, you know what? I like this guy. In some way, shape, or form, I feel like I know him. And that is ultimately the key element over here. But then could be the case of, okay, but Wandile, I don't know what to say. So this is very simple. And this is a tool that I want you guys to get. So there's a tool, guys, called BigVoo. I think I spoke about it in the first session or the second one. I'm going to cover it again. So the beauty around BigVoo, and I'd highly suggest that you guys go and get it. I think they do have a free plan. Let me quickly check it up here. So I'd highly suggest go and check out BigVoo. I'm going to open it now here in a second. So I always tell my clients to go ahead and get this app. Okay. The nice thing about BigVoo, and you can see, look at all these real estate companies in America that are using it because it's very powerful. The nice thing about BigVoo is that you're able to create video content. As you see here, see there's the realtor. A lot of real estate agents in America are actually using BigVoo. Why? Because this is what it does. Okay. It essentially allows you to post your content. So let's say something that you want to say or something that you want to speak about. And then once you press record, it's going to show up on your phone like that. And then all you just need to do is read from it. And then also what it will do is that it's got an AI fixer. So if your eyes are wandering around, it's got an AI that will keep your eyes fixed and glued to the screen. And that's just basically how it works. So the whole thing of, oh, I don't know what I'm going to say, I feel like I'm going to be mumbling over my words, that's why you use BigVoo. A lot of my clients use BigVoo because it's really powerful. It just allows you to speak and it allows you to create video content with fast ease. And that is really the best way to really go about it. Now, the nice thing about BigVoo is that you can get your fonts and you can post them as well in your video. And then once you're done, you're good to go. You can trim it. And then after that, you can post your video. Very, very, very powerful. Now, for those, for example, you see, and even more mature people are using it. So it's really just the way and the world that we're moving into now, because trust is a big factor in today's world. So just for, I think you can use, I would say, for example, guys, go ahead, give it a shot. I know they've got a free option for now, just so at least you can test it out. So let's see the free option. Okay, there we go. So I would say in the beginning, try off the free option. Of course, it's going to have the watermark. There's going to be limited functionality, but it's just to give it a shot, just to see, okay, cool, how does this work? A lot of my clients use the starter when they first get started. And then once they really start to double down, then they use this option here. Because then you've got the AI contact fix. You can also shoot a lot of more high quality content, 4K videos, and then there's unlimited things that you can do as well. But for now, I'd say start off with the free, move to starter, and then move over to the AI Pro. There's really there's now no excuse at this point, especially if you want to be creating content and doubling down and standing out. Okay, cool. So just to go back into BigVoo, all right? So guys, BigVoo, you don't need to be confident. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be a natural speaker. You just need a script. And BigVoo actually has AI that would allow you to create your script, paste it, and you just read from it. Now, of course, don't be monotonous. Okay, but that allows you to just remove the whole thing of, oh, I'm not confident, I'm not perfect, I'm not natural. You just need a script. So you can read naturally from the teleprompter. You can then create your confident videos. And now it allows you to post consistently without overthinking. It literally removes every single excuse. A lot of my clients use it and it's been helping them immediately. Let me just quickly see if I can show you guys a quick example of a client right now who's using BigVoo. And she's just been crushing it. Okay, so Bernard, I think I showed you her page, but she uses BigVoo. So I can tell because this is a text here. So this is a video of her that she did with BigVoo. There's another one, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one, there's an, you see, nonstop, okay? Because it allows you to create content at rapid speed without you having to be like this expert and you're walking and you've got this, camera crew. She just uses her phone and that's all she does, okay? So let me come back here. All right, so now the question is, okay, Wandile, what content should I actually be creating? So here's a simple rule, okay? You want to turn your daily lead conversations into content. So this is something that I always like to tell my clients is, what do buyers always ask you? What confuses a lot of your clients? And also, what do people misunderstand about raise pricing and timing, for example? Now, that is key because how you can do this is, if you ask yourself, okay, what questions do I typically get from buyers? Now you can look at all those questions that they ask, and then you can speak to people who are not ready. You can speak to people who are thinking about it, and you can speak to people who are ready right now. So for example, if you are looking to create content in terms of helping people buy their first home, what are the immediate questions that you may be getting from the top of your head that pop up? Oh, well, it could be a case of what's the buying process if I'm a first-time home buyer? Or how much do I need to be earning to afford a R1 million house? Remember, you want to create content that is in relation to your area. So let's say in your area, the average home value is R1 million, for example. That's easy content, okay? What's the buying process? How much do I need to earn to qualify? What are the requirements for me to apply to buy my first house? Are there any grants or are there any incentives for first-time home buyers? Okay, now you already have 3 pieces of content. You can go on BigVoo, use the AI to create a 1-minute video, boom, post, you're done. Okay, and then you can also speak to people who are thinking about it. So people who are thinking about buying a house, those are the typical questions that ask. And then the people who are ready right now, what questions would they be asking? People who are typically ready right now could be a case of, okay, if I'm ready to buy a house right now, what documents do I need to prepare? Boom, you're now speaking to people that are ready right now because they are now transitioning from just information gathering to action taking. So the people who are researching want more information. The people who are ready to take action are looking for information that they can use to start taking action. And then you can start creating content around that. So that could be buyers, that could be sellers, that could be for rentals as well. There's multiple ways to go around it. And then there's the general stuff like rates. There's also things like, okay, what are some of the things that I could focus on if I'm looking to sell my house and my house hasn't sold for, let's say, the past 3 to 6 months. Those are one of the best ways to go around it. Okay. So I would say that is specifically the type of content that you should be creating. Can you do just general content? Yes. But here's the thing, and this is what I want to go back into. Remember, visibility and relevance. So general content is great for visibility, but it's not going to give you that relevance. And if you don't have the relevance, it's hard for you to dominate. So the content strategy needs to be more focused on what content is relevant to the lead that is in, let's say, an information or research process. What information is relevant to someone who's ready to take action, but they don't know how? Once you start to ask yourself those questions, then you can create the content that will meet them at that level. And once you do that, boom, it's an instant win for everyone, right? Hope that makes sense. So here's a nice thing or a visibility hack that most agents miss, okay, is instead of just posting listings everywhere like everyone else, that's what every agent does. This is an instant hack you can do to get more visibility and to help you gain more relevance. So here's what's easy and it's free, right? You want to post more relevant video content to local Facebook groups or area-specific communities. So let's say, for example, you're part of a Pretoria Facebook group or a couple of Pretoria Facebook groups. Okay, you can then post video content in there that is more education-based. Why? Because what are most agents doing? They're just posting listings in those groups. They're just posting listings. So yes, they're getting visibility, but they're not gaining relevance. But if you're posting educational content that's speaking to people at different stages of the sales process, now you're being more relevant. So when you talk about interest rates, or why homes sell or don't, what buyers want right now, mistakes sellers are making in that particular area, now you're positioning yourself as visible, relevant, and trustworthy without competing on price. So what I'm trying to help you guys understand is instead of you being like every other agent who's trying to fight to gain visibility, doing what everyone else is doing, which is just posting listings, I want you to start thinking differently. Because when you now start to shift your content into more education, right, that talks about these aspects over here, you're now going to speak to people who are looking for this information that they're not getting with most agents just posting listings. And that is how you get more visibility because you're relevant, and guess what? You become more trustworthy. That, guys, I would say is such an easy way, right? Such an easy way to help you guys stand out because you're not just posting random things anymore like everyone else. You're now leading them down the right direction. So here's also some easy tools that you can use, and also using WhatsApp to turning visibility into deals. So I was thinking about this and I was like, you know what? You guys don't need 100 tools, okay? I would say, guys, 2026, this is all you need. You just need BigVoo, you just need GPT, and you just need WhatsApp. I would say for the easiest way to really stand out, these are the 3 tools that you need. There's so many other tools, don't get me wrong, there's a lot. But I was like to myself, I want something that could be easy for you guys, something that you can easily sustain, and something that you can consistently do. Because you guys already live a hectic life. So why should I be shoving down your throat more things that are just going to be irrelevant and things that are not going to help you? So BigVoo is perfect for the content because if you look at a lot of my videos, I just use my phone. I don't have fancy camera, crew, or equipment. I just use my phone. And that is one of the easiest ways just to create video content and also to be more relatable. And then for ChatGPT, so let me give you guys a little bit of context regarding ChatGPT. So what you can do, remember guys, ChatGPT isn't just using it for your descriptions. Many agents use it for descriptions, but they don't think the way that I do. And this is what's key. You can use GPT in a way that will allow you to be relevant and clear, that will speak to your market. So what do I mean by that? So you can go to GPT and you can say to GPT, okay, GPT, I want to create a video content script for homeowners in Centurion who have had their house on the market for more than 3 months, but it hasn't sold and they're wondering why, even though they've worked with over 10 plus agents, for example. I'll just give you an example. Please create a video script that is 1 minute long that will speak in particular to those homeowners. These homeowners are from the ages of 45 plus. These homeowners are worried and scared because their house hasn't sold. And these homeowners are looking for the best way possible to sell, but they don't have the right knowledge or know-how as to why their house hasn't sold. And please be as clear as possible, even to a point where I could say the script in front of a 5-year-old and they would understand everything that I'm saying. Because it's very important to be clear. If you're not clear, no one's going to understand you. If they don't understand you, you don't gain the relevance. If you don't have the relevance, they don't trust you. If they don't trust you, you've lost it. Then what will GPT do? GPT will then give you something very specific to what you've given it. And now you have your video script. And then you can upload that on BigVoo. You record your video. And now that you've recorded your video, you can now post that on the market groups, on Marketplace, right? The local groups. You can post it on your page. You can then also post it on your WhatsApp stories. Okay, because again, you've worked with past clients on WhatsApp. So now you can post that on your WhatsApp stories. So now you've got multiple different touch points. You've got the WhatsApp videos, you've got the videos in the marketplace, you've got the videos in the WhatsApp groups, in the groups on Facebook, for example, and then you've also got the video on your page. So now you are now essentially speaking to different types of people at different mediums, right? Different channels, different areas, which is tackling different pain points that they're experiencing. And that is it. It is that simple. You use GPT to help you create the scripts that is more relevant and clear. Then you record with BigVoo, and then you just post it. I would say WhatsApp is the best. Why? Because those are people you already have the conversations with. However, you can also post it on Facebook. You can post it on Instagram. You can post it anywhere that will help you get that visibility. That is literally it. I hope that makes sense. Now, go based on what I was saying, just to quickly reiterate, don't just use GPT for the descriptions and the generic captions. You want to use it for relevant education. And here's just an easy prompt that I made here. Create a 1-minute video script for homeowners in Centurion, age 45 plus, explaining how interest rates affect their selling decision in simple English that builds trust. Now you're meeting people at their level, you're speaking their language, and you're becoming the who? The authority. So while every other agent and their mother's like, I don't understand, I'm not getting any listings, social media stuff doesn't work. You're the one who's getting more deals because you understand it's not just about posting listings and just yanking out and trying to find fruit in a barren land, but you're now doing it and you're meeting people at their language, speaking their language, meeting them at their level and becoming the authority. Now, this is also something that's very important. And I think for many agents in 2026, they're going to use WhatsApp for this. And mark my words, you guys are going to remember this very well. Guys, WhatsApp is not a spam tool. It's a trust channel. Okay. So once someone engages with you and they save your number, they're going to see your stories. So this is the ultimate key element here. Okay. Don't use WhatsApp as a way just to spam people and send them bulk messages, because there's a lot of companies who are now using WhatsApp bulk messaging. Don't get me wrong. It will get you people, but it's also going to, you're going to get blocked and banned. And we don't want that. We want people to talk with us, like us, know us, and trust us. So the best way to do it, guys, is once you meet someone, or maybe let's say you've engaged with a few leads, make sure that they save your number. How do you do that? When you build rapport with them, once you've had a good conversation with them, they're going to save your number. And once that happens, they're going to see your WhatsApp stories. Now, this is gold because guess what? Now you can use your WhatsApp stories as a way for you to start getting in more people to see you, more people to find relevant content, and more people to then message you and be like, hey, I've been watching your videos for the past 2 weeks. Actually, I've got a buddy of mine who wants to sell their house, but we're also thinking of selling. When can we talk? That is the key here. So don't use WhatsApp as a spam tool. Use it as a way for you to build conversations. Now, if you're using, for example, paid advertising, like the way that we do it, okay, now you're going to get 5, 10, 15, 20 people WhatsApping you every single day. If you talk to those people, you build good rapport with them, they save your number, guess what? They're going to see your WhatsApp stories. What are you doing? You're planting the seed. And when you're posting on WhatsApp every single day, you're nurturing and you're watering that seed. Now, of course, the people that you're talking to every single day when you're using our system, there's going to be some that are going to convert right now. And then there will be some who will maybe convert in Feb or maybe convert in April. But when you're consistently posting on your WhatsApp stories, guess what? You're now getting in more people are ready to move forward. Okay. So again, I'm not really going to focus too much on why posting on WhatsApp stories is powerful. I think I've just covered that right now in a second. But again, you're not being pushy. So I would highly suggest do more educational video clips, market insights, short tips, handovers, testimonials, success moments, different content for different stages. Remember, the education stuff is going to work for people who are not ready, that you spoke to already. The authority, which could be more, for example, your market insights, your short tips, okay, that is going to get people to start thinking. And then your testimonials, the success moments, your handover content that you're going to post on WhatsApp is going to show people that you're not just someone who's educating, okay? You're not just a so-called authority, you have the proof. And I've seen that right then and right there, that's how you get more people. So it's not just about chasing, it's about attracting. We're now moving into an economy where it's all about people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. It's no longer just, hey, let me go and chase after people. It's not about how can I get people coming to me? How can I build more trust? How can I build more rapport? And then how can I close them? Okay. All right. So we're almost done. And this is just a shift that I really want to stress here that you guys need to make in 2026. The old model is, how do I chase more deals? How can I keep chasing and plowing and finding more people? But the new way of doing things, guys, is how do I become the obvious choice? That is it, guys. People want to work with agents that they like, trust, and recognize. And this system creates that automatically. When you now change your mindset from a chasing mentality to an attraction mentality, that is where you start to close in more deals. And that is what's going to happen specifically in 2026. Okay. So the final one, which I really want to quickly stress about, and this is to help you guys understand, every business at a very high level understands this. Why does McDonald's still advertise? Why does Coke still advertise? Till today, they don't need new customers, right? They already have a business. It's not because they're struggling, guys. They don't advertise because they're struggling. It's because they understand that planting seeds never stops. If you're in business, you always need to be planting seeds. So once you build visibility, relevance, and trust, you stop worrying about deals and you start choosing clients because you're constantly planting seeds. You're constantly speaking to people who may not be ready yet, but they will be in the future. Okay, perfect, great. Now they're in my ecosystem. I'm now going to use my WhatsApp stories, my content to educate them, to bring them down the funnel. And once you do that, guys, that's how you essentially win. So I'm going to quickly come back here just to help you guys understand. The farming analogy is very simple. Many agents in 2026 who are going to have 10, 20, 30 deals as goals, and they're still not closing any deals, it's because of this. Okay, they're just hunting. Don't get me wrong, hunting is still important, right? But with intention. But it's very important to understand that you need to focus more on farming and not just hunting. So don't just arrive at an empty land, look for fruit, get frustrated and leave. No, you're all farmers. So we need to find the land, ensure it's fertile soil, plant those seeds, water consistently, allow the sunlight and the time to do what it does best. And then you'll be able to harvest repeatedly. So what land are we looking for? Visibility. How do we find visibility? WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. You just need those three. How do you ensure that it's fertile? I just showed you in a second that South Africans are the biggest internet addicts. So I'll share it again. Okay. We're the biggest internet addicts in the world. So what does that mean? Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Perfect. That means we're always glued on our phones. So what does that mean? That is a fertile soil, very fertile at that. Okay. How do you plant the seeds? Content. Just because you're online doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to come to you. So how do you plant the seeds? Content. Because we need to. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Okay. Now, How do we then harvest repeatedly? Being consistent, not just posting once every month, but consistently posting. I would say anywhere between 3 to 4 times a week is great. And you do that consistently. And then this is the most important one. Allow sunlight and time, trust and timing. Remember, we're speaking to people at different stages. Some people are going to be ready right now. Some people won't be ready in 3 months. But at the end of the day, they will be ready. The key element is, will they come to you once they're ready? And the only way you can do that is just allowing the sunlight and the time to do what they do best. And that is how you harvest repeatedly all the time, right? Anyways, I hope this makes sense. If you guys want access to this doc, I'm happy to share it. I think it's a really powerful doc. I think you guys really find it valuable. Let me know, and I'm happy to share this doc with you. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to pop it into the chat. But Bernard, has this been helpful? Okay, great, great, great. Yeah, I'm happy to share the doc as well. You'll just let me know if you want access to the doc, and then I'll make sure that the doc is available. Any questions on your side, Bernard? Or was it all clear? Okay, perfect, man. Look, appreciate you for joining. All good, all good. And on our side, we do already have access. So I know the team is already starting the setup process. So yeah, I'll definitely update you as soon as we are done with that setup process. And then, yeah, if you have any questions, Bernard, feel free to pop me a WhatsApp. But I hope this was definitely valuable. And I'll see you on the next one, hopefully. Appreciate, brother. Have yourself a beautiful day, and we'll talk soon. Take care.